What's interesting is we've touched on all these Gulf countries and places like you mentioned Jordan and Lebanon. I would say there are two powerhouses or pretty strong footballing countries in the Middle East that we haven't really talked about. One, of course, being Iran, who stand out more often than not. They have some fascinating stories. When I was like 16, Ali Karimi was, whoa, when he went to Bayern Munich and that sort of thing. But the one that I do want to sort of talk to you about more specifically, and obviously you being there, is Israel. Israel is in this very unique position wherein it competes in Europe, and whatever the politics behind it and so on, those are of course key. But a lot is changing. Ties are now there, and we were talking about this before this video cast. Israel and the UAE, Israel and Bahrain. Do you see this perhaps involvement in Europe changing with the opening up of these ties? And if so, or if not, what do you think the implications of these normalization of relations will mean for the game in your country?
Well, first of all, it's already making waves, the peace agreement. In the past week, we had a really busy week in BabaGol as first ever Israeli player signed in an Arab country. Dia Saba signed for Al Nasser Dubai. Massive, he will be the fourth foreigner for this season. This is absolutely surreal. It was happening. I was covering the story really from the first stages. I had sources in all the involved characters, the all involved sides, and eventually it was presented 10 minutes before Yom Kippur, which is the Jewish yearly fast day. Really 10 minutes. I was already prepared after shower, waiting to start the fest, and boom! I thought that they will wait a little bit after the day, but no, they pushed it, and it was surreal because it's something we couldn't even imagine 1 month ago, one month and a half ago. But you hear more and more stories, of people from Abu Dhabi interested in investing in clubs in Israel. Whether it's Suleiman Al Fahim, that we are listening to his name related to Beitar Jerusalem, which is absolutely absurd. Yeah, but it's fascinating to see that things are starting to move. And as you said, Israel is in an interesting position here. And I can say that in these normalization agreements, there is huge potential to benefit all involved parties, because as someone who follows Middle Eastern football for a long time, I can tell you that there is a problem in the Gulf. Really talented players will never leave their comfort zone for real football challenges abroad. And Israel can really serve, I see it personally, can really serve as the bridge between the Gulf and the Middle East, and not talking about North Africa that really don't need Israel to be a bridge, but the Gulf really needs it, to be like a mid-stage or a stepping stone before they are moving to Europe. I think players like Omar Amouri, Abdul Rahman, and Khalfan Mubarak, and many players that can really use it, because the mentality is very similar, the food, the weather, and the people's passion for the game, it's very similar. It gives the player an opportunity to play Europa League qualifications or group stage, Champions League qualification. These things are changing people's careers.
Yeah.
And as back to our previous point, football is work. If you are doing your work in the biggest stages, something will happen. Yeah. People will see you, and you will advance. So I think it's only a matter of time. We see more and more collaborations and more paths and bridges being created in order to improve football on both sides. And the deal that took Dia Saba to Al Nasser Dubai is exciting, and I can't wait to watch him play in the Arabian Gulf League.